Hi, you guys. Okay, I was having a little bit of issues with my webcam, but we are here. We are live, and let me make sure this is right. Okay. Okay, all right. So this is our second live stream, and today we are going to paint a golden sunset. So let me give you a close-up look. This is what we're gonna paint today. Isn't that so pretty, so bright, so many different colors on there? We got some palm trees going on. We also have some longer ones here. Okay, so let's make sure we have our supplies. So you're gonna need, let's see, how many colors? 6 colors. So you're gonna need white, red, orange, yellow, purple, black, and also pink. So I get 7 colors. You're gonna need 7 colors. I have to grab my pink, but let's make sure we have the rest of our supplies. You're gonna need your water cup. You're also gonna need 2 brushes. You're gonna need your big brush. This is a 1-inch brush, and we're gonna use this to do the background. You're also going to need a pointed brush. So see, this is pointed. And the reason why you need a pointed tip brush is we're going to use it just like we would a pencil. So we can do the palm trees here, the land, and also the smaller palm trees. So make sure you have a pointed tip brush, pointed. So I'm going to go ahead and put those 2 in my cup. I'm going to put my pointed tip brush and my big brush in there in my water cup. Make sure you have that as well. Lastly, you're going to need a paint palette. So I just use a regular paper plate. So go ahead and gather all those supplies. I'm going to go ahead and grab my pink. I forgot to grab my pink. So in the meantime, grab all your supplies. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my pink and let's get started, you guys. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab our big brush, wipe it off on our napkin, get that extra water out. Just going to wipe it off. And I'm going to start with orange. Okay, so I have my orange right here at the bottom. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. All right, so I have my orange. It's right here at the bottom. Okay, see that? So I'm gonna go ahead and pour my orange on my paint palette. So there's my orange. I'm also gonna pour my yellow. I'm just following what I see here. I have orange, yellow. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour all of those colors right now. And how's everybody's week? How is Wednesday? We're in the middle of the week. I hope your week is going good. Okay, so I have my orange, I have my yellow, and then I'm gonna do some pink, just so I can have all my colors ready to go. Because you know when you blend, especially with acrylic paint, it dries fast, so you want to go right into it. So orange, yellow, pink, and purple. All right. We got our colors. Let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. Okay, I have my big brush, right? Sometimes I like to drag it up like this so they come back together, right? And then I'm going to dip into my orange. So right here, dip into the orange. And we're going to divide our canvas. So our canvas, I would say it's about maybe 70-30. So a lot of your canvas is your sky and a little bit here is your water. So you kind of just have to eyeball it. So I'm going to eyeball it. I know maybe 50% of my canvas is maybe right here. So I want to go down just a little bit further. No right or wrong, just eyeball it. Hold your brush horizontally like it's a minus sign. And I'm going to drag it from left to right, just like this. Don't take off your brush off your canvas. Just drag it all the way to the right. You have a line. Okay. All right. So once you have that, we have to brush it upwards. See how we have that orange here? It's about an inch of orange. So I'm going to grab just a little bit more. I just dip into it. Now I'm going to hold my brush vertically like it's eye, and I'm just going to drag it left to right. Okay, ready? So here, drag it left to right. Okay, see that? When you're dragging it, you want to do it in really long strokes. Don't do it short like this because you see the imprint of the brush. You want to drag it. All right, ready? We need just a little bit more. We're going to drag it again, left to right. Left to right. Okay. All right, see that? That's what I have. So now that you have your orange, we're going to go into our yellow. Our yellow is next. And we know when we're blending acrylic paint, it dries fast. So when you blend it, both colors have to be wet. So I'm going to make sure I don't have too much orange left on my brush. I'm going to kind of use my canvas to clean it off. So here, kind of like making sure there's not much on there. I'm cleaning it off, cleaning it off. And then I can dip into my yellow. Okay, ready here? Dip into our yellow. Dip, dip, dip. And we're going to do some blending. Okay, so first thing with blending, you're basically getting the colors to merge together. So we're going to start off with a little bit of our yellow and put it right above our orange, right? So I'm going to add it in right above my orange. There's my yellow right above it. Okay. Then once you have that, once you have your yellow right above it, we're going to start to move down. Let me grab a little bit more of this yellow. Okay, so our yellow is right there above the orange. Now what we're going to do is move it left to right, but we're going to move down into the orange so it blends. Okay, ready? So left to right, left to right. But watch how I'm moving down into my orange. You see that? And it starts to blend. So now it's not like that sharp line. They're actually like merging together. So here, left to right, left to right. And there's really no need to keep going down. Once you realize it's blended, you can stop. So now that I have it blended, I'm going to go ahead and kind of wipe off some of that paint off my brush because a lot of orange got into it because I had to move down, right? So I kind of wipe it off and I'm going to go right back into my yellow. So right back into our yellow, okay? And then we're going to start to move up. So righty here, I'm going to move up, back, and forth. And it doesn't have to stay straight. You can make it kind of uneven so it's more realistic. So maybe I can go up a little bit more over here, like that. I can kind of make it kind of wavy, you know. Let's keep it realistic looking. So see what I have so far? Okay, I'm going to add just a little bit more. And we're going to start to move into our next color. We're going to move into our pink. Okay, that's what I have so far. Okay, so let's move into our pink. Again, you kind of just want to wipe off your brush on the canvas. They're just blending together, so really no need to actually rinse it off. Kind of wipe it off. I wish YouTube Live kind of told you like who was here, like who is here? Where are you guys from? Do I know you all? Where are you from? If y'all can type it. Okay. I guess. All right. So let's keep going. So now we're going to move into our pink. So I'm going to dip into my pink like that. All right. So once I dip into my pink, now we need to blend the pink into the yellow. So I'm going to add my pink right above my yellow like this, just a little bit right in here like that. Okay. And then once I add it right above, we have to move down into the previous color so it blends. So ready? I'm going to drag my pink left to right, but I'm going to move down. Oh, awesome, St. Lucia. What time is it there right now? I'm from the Caribbean too. Caribbean girl. I'm from Jamaica. All right, St. Lucia in the building. Okay, so now let's move it left to right into the yellow. So I'm gonna move it left to right, and I can kind of see that it's not blending super well because maybe my yellow dried up a little bit. You see how it's kind of like scratchy looking. So if you get that, all you have to do is dip back into. Okay. Oh, same time zone. Okay, okay. So now I'm gonna dip back into a little bit more of my yellow so I can get it to blend with the pink. So righty here, and I just move it back and forth. And look, you see the difference between here and here? It's smoother. So always keep that in mind. When you're trying to blend acrylic paint, it only blend while the colors are wet. And my yellow dried up, so it wasn't blending as well. So I just went back into the yellow because I know my pink is wet, but it's my yellow that dried up. And now look at that. See how it blends really nicely? Okay, so now that the pink has blended with the yellow, I did get some yellow in there, so I'm just gonna rinse it off because I just want to work with pink, right? So I rinse it off. I'm gonna wipe it off on my napkin, get the water out. And then now I'm gonna keep moving with my pink. So let me grab some more of my pink. Dip, dip, dip. Okay, and then we're gonna keep moving with that pink. We're gonna move upwards with the pink. So ready? Holding our brush vertically like it's an eye shape. We're gonna move it left to right. All right, ready? Left to right. If you run out of paint, dip into some more. Left to right. And look at that. You don't have to make it straight like I said. Make some extra marks in it if you want. Make it look a little bit more realistic. The key is just making sure that the paint blends. Okay, left to right. You can make it a little messy, drag it across. And then now I'm going to move into my purple. See, we have purple at the top. So once again, I kind of like to wipe off the paint on the canvas because they're blending together. So no need to rinse it off. So I kind of just wipe it off, wipe it off, wipe it off, wipe it off, wipe it off. All right, so before it dries up, before that pink dries, I need to dip into my purple and blend it. They can only blend when it's wet. So here, dipping into my purple. All right, purple's on my brush, and I'm gonna add my purple right at the top of the pink. So right at the top, adding my purple. And we don't want it to look like that. That's not blended, right? We don't want it to look like that. So what do we have to do? We have to drag it left to right and drag it down into the pink so it blends. Okay, ready here? I'm going to drag it left to right, moving down into my pink, moving down. And look at that. It's starting to blend. Okay. And if there's any areas that still look like it's not very well blended to you, maybe the pink dried up. So what do? We dip back into the pink, grab a little bit of the pink and add the pink close to that purple. And look at that. Smooth, very smooth transition from purple to pink. All right, so it's blended. We're blended. Doing painting is kind of a lot like doing makeup. You got to blend, right? So we're nicely blended. Now let's just finish off with the purple. Let's add some more. We're going to finish off at the top here with the rest of our purple, dragging it. And I just have a little bit of purple. I want a little bit more. So I'm going to add some more coming down actually here. And my pink is still kind of wet, so it's nicely blending. Let me add a little bit more. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. I can be a perfectionist. I'm trying to make sure it's 100% blended. 100%. No games. Okay. All right. So let me show you what I have. Look at that, y'all. Isn't that nice? It's a very pretty sunset. Very, very pretty. Okay, so our sky is blended. Now we're going to do the bottom. We're going to do the water. Okay, so the water here, it's red, pink, and then purple. Okay, so we're going to follow the same exact techniques that we use. We're just going to add in a different color, which is our red. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rinse off my brush, get all of those colors out. I'm going to rinse it off. I'm going to wipe it off on my napkin. get the extra water out. And if y'all have any questions while I'm doing this, feel free to ask some questions if you're not clear on anything that I did. Okay, so now I'm rinsing my brush off. I'm going to squeeze my bristles back. Okay, they're separated. And then we're going to go into some red. So I'm going to go ahead and pour my red. Okay, so my red is poured. I'm going to dip into it. And what you want to do is you can add in your red just like you did the first line, just to kind of clean up any stray marks that you may have. So there were some stray marks that I see here. I'm going to basically add a second line to kind of clean it up. So here I'm going right underneath my orange and I'm adding a second line, adding it in, and it cleans up all of my stray marks. Okay, so now that I have that, we're going to continue to add a little bit more red. But we don't want to add too much paint to the bottom. We only have a little bit of space to work with. We're going to do 3 colors. So I'm adding in my red first, dragging it. Look at that, dragging it left to right. You want very nice, smooth strokes. Left to right. Okay, there is my red. Okay, I'm not adding too much. Like I said, it's not a lot of space. And then we're going to move into some pink. So my brush is kind of wiped off. I don't have much red in there. So I'm going to dip into my pink, dip into it. Okay. And then I'm going to go right beneath my red. So you're doing the same thing you did to the top, except you're not moving down. You're kind of moving up. So already here, you underline the red with the pink. Underline it. And I have a video already on how to like blend. So after this, if you're still kind of confused, you can watch that video on how to easily blend step by step. So our pink is right beneath our red. So now we have to blend it. So we have to move left to right, upwards into the red. So ready? Left to right. And I'm moving up into my red. Okay, once it's blended, no need to keep going up. You can just leave it alone. All right, so let's add just a little bit more pink before we do the purple. I'm going to add just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're done with the pink. Let's add that purple in. I'm going to dip into my purple. I did not rinse off my brush. I'm going to dip into it. Purple is such a strong color. It can just overpower the pink. No need to really rinse it off. I'm going to add the pink, the purple right beneath the pink. Add it in just like that, like you're underlining it. Now we have to blend. So I'm going to drag it left to right, going up into the pink. And see, look at that, y'all, blended. Okay, so let's finish off with the rest of the purple, dragging it left to right, left to right. Okay, and see there, isn't that so pretty? A very nice sunset. I hope you all watching this is very relaxing. You know, things can be stressful in life, especially now. So I hope you guys can just paint along with me, relax, and just like take away all the worries that you may be going through. Okay. So we have our background. What we're going to start to do next is we have to add on the details. So we're going to add in the land, the sun, the palm trees, all that good stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with adding the sun in because I know my top should be dry. But if yours is not, you're following along, what you want to do is grab something very sturdy and thick, like a book or something. I'm trying to look around and see if I have something nearby. If you don't have that, you can blow dry it. It should take about like a minute or 2 minutes to dry it. Acrylic paint dries fast. So if you need to dry yours, go ahead and do that. If not, I'm going to continue on because my sky is all dry. Please, all dry. So I'm going to add in my sun, and then I'm going to add in the palm tree over here. Okay, so we're no longer going to use our big brush. We don't really need it for anything now. We're going to start to use our pointed tip one. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and mix a very light yellow. The sun, you see, this is what our original yellow in the background. You see, it's much darker. We want a light pastel yellow. So we have to mix white and yellow together to get our pastel color. So I'm going to grabbing my pointed tip brush. I'm going to grab some white. And I'm going to put it on my paint palette. Okay, so there I have my white, and I'm going to use my yellow. Okay, here's my brush. I'm going to start with white, scoop it up, put it somewhere near the yellow, and add in a little bit of the yellow, mix it together. And you should get a nice pastel color, pastel yellow. See that? That's what we want. Okay, I have my color. Now I'm going to add my sun. So my sun is just a small circle. If you want it bigger, you can. So I'm going to go in. It's kind of like here in the center, right by the yellow, the darker yellow. I'm going to go in. Always use this brush just like you would a pencil. It's pointed just like one. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to draw my circle. I always try my best to start off small. Sometimes circles can be hard to draw, to get the perfect circle. It's a little bit harder sometimes. So start off small. That way, if you make a mistake, you can kind of even it out and make it bigger. All right, so I'm going to do my best to kind of even it out, make it more rounded. Okay, and once I'm satisfied with it, I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. So I'm going to fill it in and make sure I don't have any ripples of paint. I'm trying to make it smooth here. Okay. All right, there we go. So there's my sun. And in the meantime, I guess my water dried. So now I'm going to add the reflection down here. So my reflection is just basically like these dashes, but we know this is water, so it doesn't have to be super straight because we know water has ripples in there. So kind of make some of them a little wavy, some straight, just alternate between that. So it has to go directly beneath wherever you place your moon. So not moon, wherever you place your sun. So here, I'm going to place it right down here. So I'm going to add some straight ones. And when I do this, I'm very gently adding the lines in. If I add too much pressure, my bristle is going to spread. It's going to give me a thick line. So just very gently. So here, very gently adding it in, adding those waves in there. Super gentle. You're not thinking about anything. You're painting on a Wednesday. You're relaxing. You're just gently adding in those lines. Okay, and after you add in your light yellow, go ahead and dip back into regular yellow and add some regular yellow ones on there. Again, just very gently. Some are long, some are short. You don't want them all to be the same length. They'll look more realistic if they're not. Okay, so we have our ripples in there. Now we're going to start to add on the palm tree on the corner. Let me show you that palm tree. See that? Isn't that nice? Okay, we're going to add, it's 4 of them that I added on there, but you can do less, you can do more. With these, it takes practice to kind of get the stroke that you're going to do. So if you don't get it right, don't beat yourself up about it. It takes a lot of practice. So I'm going to start from the corner. I'm going to curve my line down, and I'm basically going to come back in and curve it down, 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 down. All right. So let's do that. Let's rinse off our brush. I'm going to rinse it off. I'm going to wipe it off on my napkin, get the extra water out, and I'm going to go ahead and pour my black. So I'm pouring my black. Okay. And y'all, I'm doing this every week now, every Wednesday. This is the second time I'm doing this. So I'm going to do it every Wednesday. So if you don't catch it live today, next week at 1 p.m., I'm doing it again the week after that. So you can catch me one of these days live. All right. So we have our black. Let's dip into it. Dip, dip, dip. You don't want too much. Just dip right into the black. And I'm going to start from the corner and drag it down. Okay, so here in the corner, I'm going to drag it down. And if you get it where you don't have all the black, it kind of fades out here, just go back into it and add the black in there. Okay. All right, so I want y'all to pay attention to how I'm going to do this. Let me kind of turn a little bit here. Yeah, okay. So with the palm trees. All you're doing is following the original line that you have here, like you're following it, and then you have to kind of fall off the line. So that's easier said than done. Let's do it. Okay, here, you're following the line, right? We're following what we just did. And we're going to drag it down, 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 down. Do you see that? Ready? Drag it down, down, down. See how I'm following the line first? I'm following it, and then I fall off. Follow it, and then fall off, 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 off. Okay, and sometimes it helps when you're doing little fine lines like this to dip your brush into a little bit of water so your paint can be a little bit more fluid and easy to work with, so it's not too solid. So I grabbed a little bit of water and I mixed it into a little bit of my black. This is going to kind of make my black kind of like ink, so it's easier to work with. Okay, so ready? Let's add some more. Drag it down, 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 down. I'm doing it in a diagonal motion. Down, 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 down. Just like that. Okay, and this is what I have. So let me add a few more. Okay. All right, there we go. So I have one, and I'm gonna add, maybe I'll add two more. So I'm gonna go back into my black, and I'm gonna draw that line once again. So we have some, let's do this one right here. That one that comes down. So here on the corner, the top right corner, drag it down. Ooh, that line's a little bit thick. Where we're gonna work with it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back into my black, and I'm gonna add some down here on the left side. So I'm gonna drag it down, 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 down. This one kind of has some that's on the left side too. It has some on both sides. And when you do it, some of them can crisscross. You see how some of mine are crisscross? Let me add a few more in there. Again, you're just adding light pressure when you do this so they look wispy. Okay, so there it is. Now, if you want to, you can leave it just like this, or you can add some on the opposite side. So if you see this one, it has some on the opposite side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to add some here on the opposite side. I'm dipping into a little bit more water if I notice that the paint is not moving as fluid as I want to. Okay. And there we go. There we go. So let's do one more. You should kind of get a hang of it after a while. After you do it a couple of times, I'm going to do one on the left side over here. So starting from the corner here and curve it down. Maybe I'll leave it like that. It's a little bit short. I didn't do that on purpose, but we're going to work with it. We're working with it. That's the thing with painting. You just have to work with what you have. You can't make a mistake when you're painting because it's paint. You can cover it up. You can work it in. You cannot make a mistake. All right. So I'm going to do this one just on one side. I'm not going to do both sides like I just did that one. So here, again, all you're doing is following the original line that you just did. So I'm going to follow it. And then I start to fall off, off, off. Start to fall off of that line. And I drag it down, down. If I run out of paint, I just dip into some more. Drag it down, 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 down. So I can go back and kind of crisscross some of them. Actually, we just end up making it longer, and that's what I was. You know, we work with it. We work with it. All right, so let me show you what I got. Let me show you what I got. All right, so we have our palm trees. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start adding on some land, you all. So let's see, which one should we do first? Let's do the one here. We'll do this one first. So we'll do the one it's right here in the water. All I'm gonna do is start off with like a line that comes down, like a diagonal line going down the hill. I'm going to come back and drag to the left. And it's kind of lumpy, so it does not have to be perfect, does not have to be neat. And we're just using black. We're just using black, so no need to rinse off your brush. Go right back into your black. Don't scoop it, dip it. Okay, so we have it. Now I'm gonna go right here on the left side of the reflection. So here, and I'm gonna go diagonal. I'm gonna go down like I'm going down a slope, but it doesn't have to be straight. You kind of add humps in there. So here, I'm going downwards. I'm adding a few humps, just like that. Okay. Then after you do that, you're gonna drag it towards the left. And again, does not have to be straight. You can add some humps if you want. Okay, and there's my land. Now we're just gonna fill it in. We're gonna fill it in, y'all. Okay. We have it nicely filled in. Now, once we do that, we're gonna add the palm trees. Let's look at the palm trees. So these palm trees is just like, you know, it's a shadow somewhere in the background. It's nothing too fancy. They're literally like asterisks or like stars, however you want to describe them. They're lines, vertical lines. Some can crisscross like an X, vertical lines, and then asterisks or stars. That's all I'm doing. I'm doing, what is it, 5 of them? But the only thing is you want to make sure the lines are really small. They shouldn't be that big. They're like palm trees that's like far out. That's what we kind of want to mimic. So they're a little bit tiny. So I'm going to do one. Let's start on the left side. I'm going to do one here. Drag it down. It's really hard to see, but I'm just making lines. And then I make asterisks. So you kind of make an X, and then you kind of make a T going through it. See that? X and a lowercase t that goes through it. Okay, so let's do a few more. This one is like an X, so I'm going to draw one that goes down to the left, one that goes down to the right. They're kind of overlapping. And then I'm going to make my star. So I'm making an X, and then I make a T right through it. X and a T right through it. Okay. And then we'll make 2 more. So make some of them long, make some of them short, some of them a little bit like they're leaning, some of them straight. Okay, and then I'll show you what I have. This is what I have. See? X and then it's lowercase t. So go ahead and do that. And then I'm just painting this, giving a second layer. It looks kind of transparent. Okay. All right. So now that we did the smaller one, now we can master it with the big one. We're going to do the bigger one. Let me hold it closer. It's the exact same thing, except it's more trees and the land is bigger. The land goes right above that original line that we did the very first step. Okay, ready? Still using black. Dipping into my black. I'm going to go right here, kind of to the right of the reflection. I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to go upwards. Again, making it kind of lumpy. Add some dips in there, some humps. Okay, there's mine. And then now I'm going to drag my line right down here. So I'm dragging a straight line right above your red. Okay, see? Right above it. And then we're going to fill it in. We're going to fill it in with black. Dragging it so there's no ripples in my paint. It's super smooth. Okay, see that? So go ahead and add that in. And then we just have 2 more steps left. We just have 2 more steps left. So let's do the palm trees. The palm trees. Again, you just add in these vertical lines. They should be very thin, very thin. Don't grab too much paint. And you're going to add some in. I'm going to start off a little bit shorter. The further I move to the right, make them longer. So start off with short lines and then add your X and then your lowercase t that goes through your X. Make some of them kind of like they're leaning, they're slanted. Make some super thin, make them cross over each other. Make some of them straight. Can y'all hear my classical music? Y'all hear that? I don't know if y'all it can pick up on it, but it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Okay, I'm adding one more. Let's do this one here. No, I lied. I'm gonna add another one. I'm gonna add another one right here. Okay. All right, this is what I have. See that? Okay, so add yours in, and then we're gonna do the highlights, and that's gonna be the last step. We're gonna do the highlights. So see, the highlights are the same color as the sun. It's like that pastel yellow color, and you're not doing anything new. You're just basically mimicking what you already did, but you're not doing as much. So we have our line here, this palm tree, and we're just mimicking what's already there. So you just add in additional strokes, but this time it's not black, it's yellow. But you have to make sure that this is dry. So if this is not dry, again, find something really sturdy, like a book or something to fan it, or go and blow dry it. It has to be dry. It's gonna turn into like this ugly color. So I'm gonna rinse off my brush now that I'm done using my black. I'm gonna wipe it off on my napkin. I'm gonna wipe it off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go back into my pastel yellow. So remember, that was a lot of white and just the smallest amount of yellow. I'm mixing it here once again. Okay, so now that I have it all mixed, I'm gonna go ahead and add on my highlights. Okay, so let's do the first one right here in the middle. All you're doing, again, you're not doing nothing new. You're adding the same strokes. This time it's in yellow to highlight it. So very gently, you don't want to add too much pressure to this. It should be very wispy. You see how it kind of makes it stand out? Look at that. Again, add water to some of your yellow if you need to make it more fluid. So that one is done. You don't want to overdo it. I'm going to do this one. Let's do this one here. I'm just adding it in, skipping some areas. I don't want to take over the black with yellow. I just want to use this as a highlight. That's all. Okay, so I did that one. Okay, now let's do the last one here at the top. We're going to do that last one. All I'm doing is just adding a little bit of water to the paint. Okay, so this one here, just adding in those same strokes. Okay, and at this point, I'm adding the rest of my details. And I'm going to give my son a second layer, actually. Okay. All right, and then let me show you my final painting. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready to see the masterpiece? Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? I really love this painting because it's like so bright. So that is the last step, you guys. So usually when I'm done with a painting, I always sign it. I sign it here at the bottom right. You always want to make sure like you sign your masterpiece, let people know that's mine. I did that. So yeah, sign at the bottom right. And that is the last step. So thank you guys for tuning in from St. Lucia, wherever else you all are at. Thank y'all so much. So again, this is the second time I did this, but I'm going to start to do it weekly. So if you're watching this later on and it's not live, I do this every single week, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. All right. So hopefully I get to see you all next week. But other than that, again, thank y'all for tuning in. And I will see y'all next time. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye, you guys.